Happy Strawberry Moon. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Yeah. Waiting for you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Yeah. It's not gone. Waiting for you. Smile uptown. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Yeah, it's all. Waiting for you. Let's get it on. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Waiting for you. Happy Strawberry Moon to everybody's. Everybody's. Yeah, I hope the situation in LA is. Sometimes I do turn off the news sometimes. Like, there's news break. Yeah, play the guitar for like 3 hours. Talk about President Benson for 4 hours. Talk about President Biden for 10 hours. Sometimes, yeah. Play a video game. You play Legend of Zelda for an hour. Take care of the dogs for a few hours. Make some food for a few hours. Take a walk for as long as you can. In the dreaded Texas humid heat, go watch the moon by the bright moonlight night, the full strawberry moon tonight. Yeah. Maybe you do other things besides watch the news. I don't know. How did I become a newsie? Well, it's a natural interest in reading and writing, a natural aptitude, and also, I think my grandparents used to watch the news all the time. Like, everything was like clockwork. I, like my grandpa and grandma, like to watch the news. Know what's going on. I know we can't trust the mainstream news these days. Maybe they couldn't back then. I think they could trust the news a lot better. I think people on the big three networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, were a lot different in my grandparents' day. I think they actually believed in journalistic integrity, that they actually believed in truth, justice, and the American way. I think they actually did. Yeah, I think it was kind of true news back then, or at least, as true as they could make it. They made it as they had as much journalistic integrity. They didn't lie to keep a war going, unless, I guess Vietnam, but I think that journalists wanted to tell the truth back in the day, and now they're just controlled by corporate or military interests, or global elites' interests. I think there was a time that people actually were real journalists that went to the field and tried to find out the truth and tried to report that to the American people, or tried to report that to the world. I think there were things called journalists back in the day that weren't controlled by the hand, by elites, by George Soros. I used to think that there was a thing called a free press, as by the Constitution of the United States. I I used to believe in this thing called America. I used to believe in this thing called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I still do, but obviously over the years, those things have been coming more and more under scrutiny and question as we've seen abuses of power unfold in different administrations and different corrupt politicians and individuals. So unfortunately, our faith has been eroded in a pure system, in a system that looks out for the people, looks out for America, looks out for having journalistic integrity. Yeah. But I think in my time, I think in the era in which I was born, I think that CBS, ABC, NBC, they weren't bought out by foreign influences like the Chinese Communist Party. I don't think they're bought out by the leftist, Marxist, Democrat Party. And at first, the Democrat Party was not fully, they were liberal, but they were not leftist or Marxist or communist, at least at first. And so at first, they were kind of moderate. So at least in the original Clintonian days, they were moderate. But something went terribly wrong with the establishment media over time. And eventually they went into total lies and corruption and special interest. And then eventually not one American person with a critical thinking brain could actually take CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, and Microsoft, Bill Gates of hell, NBC seriously as a journalistic source, where they're constantly, like in George Orwell, telling us that when leftists burn down cities, that is peaceful demonstrations, and then when people on the other side, or conservative or Republicans, do it, it's an insurrection. So that's when we knew they're totally full of shit. They're lying. They've been lying to us for the last, decade or so. So now they have no integrity at all. They have no desire to report what we see with our own eyes. They haven't had that impulse for, it could have been decades. Maybe it's been 10 years. Maybe it's been 20 years. Maybe it's been, 25 years. But we haven't had a free press. Not really. Now, the only free press we have now is social media, YouTubers and stuff, and independent journalists, real journalists, and we haven't been able to trust the big three networks and CNN and definitely not MSNBC. We've never been able to trust them. But for example, you have an NBC that wants to actually spread the lie and the distortion that RFK, Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., wants people not to get vaccinated against any ailment, that he's a complete anti-vaxxer, and he wants everybody to get shingles, measles, and rubella, and chickenpox, and polio. He doesn't want anybody to take any vaccinations or precautions against disease. No! And who fucking actually believes that he believes that? There is no fucking way that I would ever believe that Robert Fitzgerald Jr. Kennedy believes that all vaccines are horrible. But that's what NBC, ABC, CBS, and their liberal world order motherfuckers are trying to push every night on their platforms, and it's total garbage. I just watched to see how bad the dumpster fire gets. I never ever believe it, though. a political and global organization that only has conformity and compliance in its design. It doesn't allow for free thinking, free thought, independent thinking. No. Creative thinking doesn't want that. It only wants blind, stupid obedience to the party like George Orwell 1984 warned us about. Blind obedience to the party. And that's it. Nothing else. There's no other alternatives in that sort of media or governance or political party. It is a totalitarian, Orwellian world they want to create of obedience. There's no creativity. There's no diversity. The same party that tries to tell us every day, all day about diversity of thought, diversity of people, diversity of language, diversity of country, is the ultimate party libtards of conformity itself. They are the exemplars of total and complete robotic conformity and totalitarian order, authoritarian, Orwellian prison shackles. Oh, and maybe the rich of the past used to just try to shackle us. Only the wealthy of the past tried to shackle us in servitude, slavery. They tried to just make us poor and weak. These people tried to enslave our minds, which is even more of a wicked assault. They try to enslave our minds and souls. But we as American people have stood up and said, you don't control that. You don't control. We told the masters of the universe and the deep state and the elites and the global liberal world order, you might control a lot of things, but you don't control our minds. You don't control our hearts. And you'll never fucking control our souls. So we're not at the end of this war. We're at the very beginning for the human civilization, for our human souls. We are at the very foundational point that we must fight for our souls and our minds and creativity and freedom and liberty. This is only the start of the troubles that await us ahead. But I say that not to make people feel in despair or depressed or hopeless. That's actually what I'm saying is inspirational. That we haven't backed down. Guess what? We're never going to back down. Ever. Yeah, sure, they scared us with the Chinese plague into submission. It was a good con job from the Wuhan Virology Institute. It was a good election steal in 2020 by the Democrat Party and the liberal global world order and the deep state and the military industrial pharmaceutical technological state media propaganda complex. But we are starting to rise up and resist against you and reclaiming our country, our heritage, our language, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our people. So, even though things might seem out of control, chaotic, and dire, I think that the masters of the universe will find themselves, like John Fitzgerald Kennedy once said, one of his famous speeches, those who rode the backs of the tiger will soon find themselves inside. To see a Kennedy harassed every night on nightly news would be unheard of in the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s. Why should it be appropriate now to bash one of the Kennedy family? The son of the brother of one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history. This is a blight on our American heritage. It is not Bobby Kennedy Jr. that betrayed America. It's those that betrayed Bobby Kennedy Jr. that betrayed America. That's who betrayed America. It's George Soros and the Clintons and the Obamas. The abominations. The real deplorables. Bill Gates. George Soros. Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton. Barack Hussein Obama that have betrayed our country. Joseph Robinette Biden that have betrayed our country. Gavin Newsom. Kamala Crapola Harris. Adam Shifty Shit Schiff in California. Karen Bass, the mayor of California, that has betrayed our great beloved nation. They have betrayed us. Not Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. As much as his family betrays him, as much as the Bidens and the Democrat Party betray him, the American people decided that he was great and he needed to be preserved. So, the Kennedy family might have abandoned Robert Kennedy Jr., but the American people did. Not at all. They remembered who he was, who his family was anyway. They knew his father, unfairly assassinated, and his great brother, JFK, was assassinated unfairly by a system that assassinated people who questioned the authority or the military-industrial complex, and they were killed for that. For questioning the intelligentsia, for questioning what everybody should have the right to question. Every individual should have a right to question their boss, their corporation, their organization, no matter how big or powerful or strong, or how mighty, or in their own government too. But many of us are denied such rights by a punishing, cruel, authoritarian system that tries to crush us from within. It tries to deny a fundamental right that all American citizens should have, which is critical thinking, nonconformity, and the questioning of authority itself. The coalition is strong. The coalition is not broken. This United States of America, this union, which has almost stood for 250 years, faces as many crises as it has in its whole history. But I have no doubt that the United States of America will weather any storm, will face boldly any crisis, and triumph through history. That this is only the beginning of our triumph over crises. This is only the beginning of our triumph against evil. We will rise, we will struggle, but we will win ultimately. I have no doubts about that. I never would anyway. It's like you and 340 million people, or whatever that it is, we are American citizens. We never give up. We never surrender. We never fucking will. The blood don't matter. The pain don't matter. The victory is the only thing that is supreme. The sweat don't matter. The toil don't matter. None of that matters. As long as the United States of America and Western civilization endures on this planet and planets beyond for millions of years to come. That's the only thing that's worth living, fighting, and dying for. Sure, there's challenges, there's problems. But any of us who've ever taken a math class knows that problems can be solved. Almost no matter how complex, no matter how hard. Maybe you've taken calculus, maybe you've taken advanced calculus. You know that there's no problem that can actually be solved. So even us. So even the U.S. sovereign debt at $37 trillion, there's no problem that cannot be solved. Those creative among us know that there's no problem that cannot be solved. There's nothing we cannot do together. There is not anything that cannot be done. With God, the Lord Almighty, all things are possible, they say. Now, the only thing I need is for my fellow Americans to actually believe that. And then we've already won. Blood has been spilled. And there may be more blood spilled to come. For the idea was stronger. The idea of God is more powerful than the people themselves. The idea of the United States plus God is more powerful than even the people that are the followers. The idea inspires the people. They work hard. They bust their ass every day. Those of us that voted for Trump and wore the MAGA hat and all the shit, it's because we believed in it. It wasn't just because no reason. All those people wearing the MAGA and the Trump and all the shit, all the people like me out there doing that, and get out there fucking working hard, busting our ass the last fucking, 9 years, it wasn't because we just needed something to believe in, or we were fucking Nazis or something. We were fucking brown shirts. No, it wasn't that. It's because we believed in it, and we got out there and we did the work, and we filled out the forms, and we did shit. We got out the message, We believed it. We believed in America, making America great again. We actually believed in that. And so, beliefs are powerful. Beliefs are powerful, but like Dune by Frank Herbert, fear is the mind killer. Fear is the mind killer. Our faith in America, our faith in Trump allowed us to go into an unknown, uncertain place. And some days we thought the feds, the FBI didn't, and the Democrat Party were going to crush the Republican and conservative parties and going to crush Donald Trump and crush the popular United States uprising for the dignity and the language and the culture of the United States. We thought that Joe Biden and the FBI were going to use the powers of the federal establishment to crush the people and crush, using the Chinese plague, take away all our freedoms and crush us to death into a place where we'd have no hope and have no leader in the future, that we'd all be flailing and hopeless. And the times were bleak. There was the Chinese plague, that was bleak. Then there was Bidenflation. Then shit was so expensive. Then everything closed down. The economy went to shit. Then there was fucking $6 a gallon gas. Then there was all this other bullshit. And then there was like Gay Day and transgender generals and all this fucking wicked, evil shit. All this leftist shit. But we got through it. It sucked. That 4 years blew. It was like being sent to prison for 4 years. You're sent to a Biden, Kamala Harris prison, and there's no way out. You just have to deal with Gay Day and just fucking suck it up. It sucks. You have to deal with... It's like America was sent to the Biden-Harris prison for 4 fucking years, where you had to hear about the rights of transsexuals and this gay-ass fucking bullshit and rainbow parades, and you don't want that at all. You're a straight guy, you're a straight woman. You have an interest in straight people fucking, which is a straight guy and a straight woman having sex, and they have the babies that create the next generation of Americans or human civilization. And then you have this fucking hijacking Chinese plague fucking Biden Harris that want us to embrace transsexual gayness. And most of the Americans are like, what the fuck is this fucking bullshit? One thing Americans really realize is that this is not normal. Okay. Maybe some of us girls were raped when we were a kid. Maybe some of us guys were sexually abused. But even for us, this is fucked up, guys. Even for us that were defiled when we were kids, like some of you out there, this is even more fucked up, that they do government mandates that make child molestation and child rape legal or something like that, that they make chomos standard and not something evil and that should be punished. What really ticked Americans off, I think, is the disregard for children's safety. That was by this transsexual homo bullshit. And so that's what really pissed Americans off. Yeah. Not only did the Biden-Harris administration and DOJ go after Trump and MAGA supporters and scrutinized us with the FBI did, but they also left our children vulnerable and let in 10 to 12 million illegal aliens. A lot of those are child molesters and chomos and child fuckers and child rapists. That's one of the worst things they have done, is endanger our, if we have children, they've endangered all of us by these illegal foreign fuckers, these rapists, these gangbangers, these thugs from the cartels, from third world countries, from lawless, godless places. But there was no way American citizens were going to accept chomos and child molesters. So that was a doomed struggle, a doomed battle by the left and by Joe Biden from the get-go. But that wasn't Joe Biden's plan, was it? Or the Democrat Party. The plan was to cause chaos and destroy America from the inside out. That was the Soros, Obama, Biden, Clinton playbook. It was to destroy the goodness and the greatness of America and the godliness of America. Unlike Satan and Lucifer, they attacked our children. And they thought we weren't going to defend our children, that we weren't going to fucking defend our borders, that we weren't going to fucking fight back. Well, only Lucifer would think that way. Because we are going to fucking fight back, and we have. We'll protect every single child in this country. We're going to fight back and kick out all the illegal foreigners. We're going to fight back so hard. You haven't seen this kind of awakening since Hitler invaded Europe and the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Never, ever awaken the sleeping giant. Because once we get out of our bread and circuses, we're so fucking big. If you fuck with us, we're going to fuck you up so hard, you're going to be history. Not even recognizable in history. But history itself. Ashes. The collective power and the will of the American people, if it is angered to an extent that it will not tolerate it, then it will become the biggest force in the world. And those that are our adversaries and enemies better watch out. Because when we awaken, we get up. When we awaken and we attack our enemies, you are fucking vanquished, dead. What are the empires that have challenged America? Or challenged God? Well, let's run through them. The British Empire, our forebears, gone. The British Empire is gone. Even though I love English, I love British, but they're gone. The Confederacy, the Civil War against America, that's gone. Wow, who would have thunk that? The British Empire is gone. The Confederacy is gone. The Spanish Empire is gone. The Mexican Empire is gone. Yeah, they're all gone. Wow. Napoleon and the French Empire that stood against America, guess what? They're gone. Whoa. Who else is gone that challenged America and American citizens? Ooh. Well, I could fast forward through World War I, right? The Soviet Union is gone, the Communist Empire. Yeah, the Soviet Union is gone. It's no more. Ah, wow. So who's fucking next? Who's fucking next? Is it the Chinese Communist Party? Is that who's next to challenge America? Is it the Democrat Party that's challenged America from the inside out? Who else is next to challenge America? The Russian Federation? Who else will fall if they challenge the United States of America? How many civilizations have fallen trying to defeat us? Doesn't mean we're invulnerable. It doesn't mean we're invincible. But think about it historically. How many empires, republics, nations, and communist states have attempted to destroy the United States of America or attack? The Nazi Empire is gone. The Japanese Empire is gone. How many empires have attacked the United States of America and Western civilization itself and survived and conquered it? Well, so far, here's the answer in history. If you study history, you realize that any country that has attempted to control or destroy the United States of America has defeated America a total of zero times. Right. Read your history. How many times has the United States been conquered? The United States of America. Oh, look, it's zero. Historians and mathematicians, you know that zero means no time. 0 times. Ooh. Yeah. It doesn't mean that the United States is invulnerable or it's invincible. All empires fall, all nations fall, all human civilizations fall eventually. That's a historical precedent. However, how many nations have been able to conquer the United States of America? How many opposing adversarial forces have been able to challenge America? Well, not lately, and not likely. Now, I guess the Chinese Communist Party thinks, well, if we're communists, we're not going to fall like the Soviet Union. Well, you're Marxist and Mao Zedongist, so I don't think you're going to survive, actually. Yeah. Unless you steal, unless you kill, unless you pillage, unless you get amazing AI tech and kill us. I don't think the Chinese Communist Party is doing well at all. I think reports of their rise are bullshit. I think they're in serious shit. They're in definite signs of collapse. Now, yeah, they have a central beehive type government, a communist, Leninist, Stalinist, Marxist government. They try to maintain control of that big, gigantic country they have. And they try to control the world at the same time. Now, how is the communist Chinese going to control their own people, 1.4 billion people, and vanishing, and an increasingly disgruntled youth that's pissed off, and conquer the globe at the same fucking time? The answer is, they can't. Yeah. America's wise. America's wise because it has one nation but so many faces. So America's wise because it has so many allies in Oceania, the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Australia, the Quad. America's genius is that it has so many allies, so many brothers and sisters that are ready to go to war. And if adversarial, anti-American, or anti-Western forces come up against us, the Australian will die for the American, and the American will die for the British guy, and the New York guy will die for the Texan, and the Texan guy will die for the Californian, and the Michigan guy will die for the Texan, and the Texan guy will die for the Minnesotan. It's a genius. It's fucking genius. Not one of us will allow Western civilization to fall. Because it's not just, Western civilization is not just a 250-year history. It's thousands of year history since time immemorial. The history of the world is not just the history of the United States, which is almost on its 250th birthday, 249th on July 4th, 2025. But the history of Western civilization goes back thousands of years to Europe and to the Middle East. And we refuse to abandon our heritage for those adversaries that will try to conquer us in global conquest. We will resist, we will fight back, and we'll make our adversaries history instead of us. We'll die for our rich history. Just as I'll die for my English and American, Anglo-Saxon, I will also die for my Cherokee ancient Indian history that goes back thousands of years on these blessed continents of the New World. The beauty of this place, maybe some of us take for granted, but every day I see a sun, every day I see a cloud, every day I see a bird, I'm reminded of how blessed this land is and how lucky we are to be here in this great freedom. Every day I see a flower, I'm reminded of how lucky I am to be here. So even if some of us have started to take things or life for granted, I still remember. Not that I'm the best observer of that, but I'm saying I'm trying. I try to aspire to be that. God bless and best of success.